Good evening, guys, and we're back for another episode of Real Relevant Right Now. I'm Kirsty Spence, and today's the 22nd episode of Real Relevant Right Now called 4 is a Disco. And we're going to be finding all about why I chose to call it that name later in the show. But I hope you're all well. Hey, Dean, lovely to see you. I hope everyone's having a good Sunday. How has everybody been? What's everyone been up to? Hey, Mavis, lovely to see you. And as I was saying, we have got Jamie Searls on the show today. So we're going to be talking all about his music career, his new projects that he's got coming up. But we're also going to be talking on lockdown lessons, and I feel like a lot of us have learnt a lot of them. I know I have, that's for sure. I've definitely got to know myself a bit more and become a lot more comfortable with who I am, and just kind of take a look within. And I think that's a challenge that a lot of us have faced. We've had so much time on our hands and nothing to be able to do or to deflect if we don't want to find out what's going on inside. It's been really, really nourishing, actually. I found the whole journey really nourishing, and it's been nice to kind of sit in front of that mirror and have these conversations with myself and others as well, actually, but primarily myself. I think it's the conversations with yourself that are super important, because usually we live such a fast-paced life that we kind of don't give ourselves time to just zen in, and find out what's going up in here and going on in here. But yeah, so it's going to be a really cool show. And I believe, hello, guys, Jamie has just joined us. So we're going to get him on. Right. Hopefully, in a second. Oh.
Hello.
Is he here?
Am I live? I don't know if I am.
Hello. I thought I'd frozen then because I just stopped moving. Well, hopefully Jay will be staying connected.
I think it's waiting.
Jay, are you there? Hopefully you will be. Hello, everybody. Lovely to see you all. I hope you're all having a wonderful Sunday. We're just having a few technical issues here. Listen, it wouldn't be my life if we didn't have a few technical issues. This is what we do. Let me see if I can. Oh, I'm not sure what's happening. Right, hopefully Jamie will be with us soon. But yes, how's everybody been? Hey, Indra, lovely to see you. Today I actually had a bit of Okay, unable to join. Right, let's just see if I can get Jamie on here. Give me a second. Go live with Searls. Send request. Let's see if we can do it that way, Jay. But yeah, so we're just talking about Sunday and how we've been. My day has been quite nice,
okay,
actually.
It's happened again for me. So basically,
I feel like I woke up really grumpy. Does anybody ever get that? Like, you can just wake up like no one's done anything, you've not really done anything, but you just kind of wake up a bit aggy.
Your screen is completely white.
Yeah, so I kind of had to work through that, which I just did a little bit of meditation and some Reiki.
Your picture,
and then I was like, yeah, I actually feel really good. And it's funny because I woke up, it was such a beautiful morning. The sun was shining and blue skies.
So it's literally like this.
And I was really grumpy. And then when it started raining, I was like, oh my God, I feel amazing. So I don't know what that means, but yeah, that was my day today. Oh, and I also had to completely fumigate the house, freaked out. So not 100% sure, but I'm thinking, basically I picked my cat up the other day and I saw this little black thing crawling her, and obviously I was like, oh my diddy days, what if she's got fleas? Don't understand. So I've basically freaked out. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm really OCD when it comes to germs. So I've fumigated my whole house today and tried not to kill my housemates because I've literally got a bit extra. But hopefully there's no bloody fleas, because yeah, that's really not nice. But any cat lovers out there that have cats will understand my frustration. It's the first time actually we've had Nyla 5 years and she's never had fleas. So I'm hoping it was maybe just a fly or something, but it freaked me the hell out anyway. So Lord Jesus, please. Thank you so much, Indra. Yes, I am wearing yellow. You know how I love my yellow. Oh, bless you, and thank you very much. My hair, it's a bit all over the place right now, but it's there. Okay, so basically, guys, as I was saying, we have got the wonderful Jamie Searls on today, but I'm not sure. Hopefully he should be back. I think we're just having a few technical issues, so I couldn't actually get him. We couldn't actually connect to each other. I'm just going to see if he's back No, he's not back yet. But Indra, how's your Sunday been? How's life been going? Your acting career? I hope things have been going well. Yeah, same. I'm a bit OCD with cleaning and things like that. I can't say I love them. I love to clean, should I say? But yeah, anything grimy, no, I can't do it. I'm just like, oh, literally, I blitzed the entire house. I was cleaning for like 5 hours. It made me feel so amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I am one of those weirdo people that really takes joy in cleaning. Just so I share this with you. But is anybody? You know, I'm actually. This might make me sound so super sad. Hold on, let's see if we can get Jay in. Go live. If we can't, guys, we may have to jump off and I may have to jump back on again. Yes!
It's working!
Yes!
We got there!
I was like, oh my God, what's happening?
Did you see me? Did it work the first time? It didn't work.
I didn't see you at all. I don't know if the guy saw you. I didn't see you whatsoever.
So what was happening when you, like, when the 10 second or the 5 seconds went around? Did it just like, did we log in or?
No, I was just talking. I was telling everyone how I love cleaning. They're probably really, really bored of me.
How are you?
Oh, I'm well. How are you? This would only happen with me and you. I love it, Jay.
I love it. I'm just really appreciating the canary yellow.
Really are you? Thank you.
Yeah, it's lovely. You're bringing the sunshine on this. What was a pretty fucking grey day.
I know, right? I was just saying, I woke up this morning. I know the sun was beaming, the sky was blue, but I was so grumpy. I was like really grumpy. And so I like just did a bit of meditation, worked my way through it. And then when it started raining was when I started shining. So I don't know what that means. But yeah, it's not been a great day, has it?
It has been. You know, but I went round to my mate's house there. I went round to Henry's and I went, I got a place on the canal in Limehouse. Nice. It was lovely. We walked around there. We walked around to Canary Wharf.
But you didn't go into his house, did you? And you guys were two meets apart completely straight.
Oh, yeah. Obviously.
You're amazing.
I'm so over lockdown. I can't take it anymore.
Oh my gosh, I know. How have you been feeling?
It's just too much, isn't it? I want to be back to normal life. You know, it's so funny. We'll get into it in a bit, like, and why. But it's just like I'm ready for normal life. And I listen. People have it harder. People have it harder. We've got to be thankful.
No, I completely agree with you. But I think it's like I've said to you before. It's made me realise how kind of spoiled we are living here in the UK. You know, like, and what we actually have to our expenditure and what we can do. But I am just really missing people. I love meeting new people, Jamie, and I know you do too.
Yeah. We're extroverts, right? Hard. Extroverts get their energy. So it's interesting, you know, there's loads of theory to back it up as well. Again, we'll get into it. But, like, you know, the whole thing of, like, extroverts need people. We do. You're like, you need people to sort of recharge and feel good about yourself. And introverts in the same way, it's you know, they're happy to be on their own. But even for introverts, this is a really difficult time because we're social creatures.
100%.
So it's been tricky.
No, definitely. And I'm such a complex creature. I think there's times when I'm the introvert and I just want to be on my own. And then there's times where I'm like, no, the extrovert needs people. I need to get out. I need energy.
Totally. Just to be around. And even, you know, when I saw you in the park, right? Obviously, we saw each other in the park. And
I know, because you are newly my neighbour. Hello, I love it.
Yes. Neighbours. So for those of you that don't know, Kirsty and I live really close to each other in East London, so we both live in Forest Gate, and it's just been lovely. It's nice to have a neighbour nearby because I've never really had neighbours.
I know what you mean, that you actually know, that are like actually friends. Do you know what I mean?
It's just cool.
No, completely.
So it's been great. But how was your weekend?
My weekend's actually been really lovely. I was just, again, boring everyone at the beginning. Like, I don't know if there's any cat lovers out there. I've always been a dog person, but I have got a cat. I do love her. She is my little tiger. But basically, I picked her up yesterday and there was like this little black thing that crawled on her. And Jamie, you know what I'm like with my cleaning? I freaked out. I was like, what if she's got fleas? I don't know. I don't know. It was just a tiny little black thing, like that big. So I literally spent about £50 on cleaning things like flea killer. I basically fumigated my entire house out. Basically locked my housemates in their rooms saying, do not leave because you will die. This is extremely toxic. Like, just completely fumigated the house just in case. So that is what my weekend's been. I've cleaned a lot.
Well done. That's what you've got to do. But you know what? I think there's that moment when you're like, I remember I had a mouse in my house. In London, these old houses.
I was there.
You were there. You were there. And I was like, I just
I
got this
thought you'd
lovely
seen a
new place.
ghost.
And I was like, oh, this is amazing. Really excited to move in. Open the hot press. I was like, ah! Like terrified. Like, what is this? Get it out of the house. So I went, got all these bits and pieces, and like it didn't take. So I don't know. Maybe it's gone back to mousy heaven. Who knows?
Well, let's hope so. Let's just hope it's not still there.
Fingers crossed. They can't find any even evidence of it. Anyway, Kate. Side
I know.
point. You've done the right thing.
Sorry,
Tried to
cleaning
sort
game
it out.
over, guys. We're back. Okay, so as I said, Real Relevant right now, episode 22, 4 is the disco, and we have the amazing Jamie Searls here with us today. So, Jamie, I'm going to start with a couple five questions. I mean, I know we've kind of already warmed up, but I just love to do this because I love to do it with my interviewees. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Let's go. Disco or soul?
Disco.
Baileys or Guinness?
Oh, that's really hard. Depends on the time of the year. Christmas time, Baileys or Guinness.
Thank you. Countryside or the city?
Oh, city.
East London, West London. This is so crucial right now. We may not be friends depending on your answer.
I don't know. I feel like
you've got 3.
I can't answer.
2.
You know what? My heart is in West London.
No, I can't even take it. I can't even take it.
Because I've just moved here. Like, give me time. Give me time.
Okay, fine. Songwriting or performing?
Songwriting, performing.
Yeah, I love that. Straight. Okay, so Jay, let's get into a little bit about you and your music and what it is that you do. So first and foremost, have you always wanted to be an artist? Have you always wanted to be a singer?
Yeah, always.
Really?
I can remember. Yeah, always. It was always.
When was the first time that you knew this is what I want to do?
Do you know what I remember just watching? Like, I was like Top of the Pops when I was like a kid in the 90s.
I love
and
Top of the Pops.
Right? Or like even like CD UK. I remember like CD UK. Right, CD UK. After SMTV Live. Was it
SMTV Live. Who was that with?
Cat Dealey and Anton Deck.
Yes, and Anton
Remember
Deck.
the Chums and all that.
Yes, every Saturday morning.
It was just iconic, and it was just. I remember like watching, and I remember CD UK was always my favorite part because I'd like to see the pop stars and them singing, and it just felt really exciting. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but that's what I want to do. And I remember like doing like, musicals or plays or different things even with different family members, and I remember like being like, yeah, this was just like it just. This is my calling. Exciting. This is my calling, yeah.
No, I love that. And Jay, you grew up in Ireland, right?
I grew up in Ireland, yeah. Can you tell? It's pretty strong. After 10 years, it's still pretty strong.
I know it is. I love it. So you've actually been in London now for 10 years, right?
Decades, yeah.
Oh my gosh. And what inspired, what made you want to make that move?
Oh, do you know what? I always felt that I was going to move here.
Really?
Yeah, I did. Because, so my mum is from here. As you know, so my mum actually grew up weirdly 2 roads away from where I live now, which is mental. And I never lived here, so I only moved here a couple months ago. So anyway, side point. I always saw London as this like big, exciting place. I'm from the countryside, right? So I'm a country bumpkin. I am from there's green fields literally and cows behind my house. So when I went home in August.
Where in Ireland are you from?
It's a little town called Kinsale in County Cork. So Kinsale.
And I love Cork. I have been to Cork, can I just say. I was very, very young, but I absolutely loved it.
Whereabouts? We've chatted about this, but
whereabouts? I know. I have no idea whereabouts I was. I was there with one of my very good friends, and we went and stayed with her family. And there was just, I remember that I love the fact that Primark's called Pennies. Yeah. I just thought that was absolutely out of this world. Like Pennies. I was like, this is beautiful.
It's a funny name, isn't it?
I know, it was amazing. But we also saw, it was really strange. I think I must have been about 16, 17. And DJ Jazzy Jeff was there, not like DJing in a club. It was like epic. It was very
Really?
Had the best time.
Where?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know, of course.
I don't know. I just know that we
music scene. Got a really good live music scene. It's very like kind of, when I hear of people that are from Manchester and Leeds and stuff, it's kind of like that. It's very bandy. It's very like, rock. There's a big rock scene there as well. And then obviously commercial radio is I kind of call it a bastardized version of like America and the UK.
Okay.
Yeah. Not in a bad way. It's just kind of the way it is. That's top 20, top 30. I mean, it's kind of the same around the world now, isn't it, really?
No, of course. So Jay, where would you say that your kind of career started in music? Was it in Ireland or was it when you moved to London?
Oh, sure, for sure. When I moved to London, I think in Ireland I
Really?
was, yeah, because Ireland's it's a country that's really focused on academics and
Okay.
education. So it's like it's very like our sort of A levels, our equivalent is called the Leaving Cert, and it's very focused on like points. It's called and like getting good grades.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really like we don't really have the option to do like drama or like the way you even like English
Okay.
here is like divided into English lit and English something as English language, right? Whereas like
Yeah,
over here,
little
it's like
language.
English, Irish, German, French, business, accounting, all that kind of stuff. So I, yeah, so I didn't get the opportunity to really get involved in music until I moved here. And then,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So that was kind of shifting actually when you got here. And then I was like, applying for different things. And then I did some interesting jobs
Did you?
and then some more exciting ones.
Why did you tell us about those jobs, Jay?
Just some of the ones you did back in the day. Like I remember like turning up. I remember like, I was doing some acting work and acting jobs and I didn't really take acting that seriously because I always knew I wanted to get into music.
Yeah.
So I did this like a lot of different commercials, particularly in the UK, and some were like shot like, or they were like shown in different countries and not,
Yeah.
in the UK or in Ireland or whatever. And then there was like, I remember there's one I turned up and I went for casting in Notting Hill, and then the next day they were like, okay, yeah, cool, you're gonna have to go to like Elstree, so where Big Brother's filmed, right? In
Studios.
Hertfordshire.
Yes.
And I was like, oh yeah, cool, okay, we'll turn up there. And then I remember turning up there, and like it was just a really odd day. Like we were kept in this room. It was just really odd, and we were supposed to be like the love interest of something. And I just remember being like, this is not like, and we were like, it was just a real education because unfortunately, when you're like the not even the talent sometimes, but you're brought into as a kind of to shoehorn. You
Yeah.
realize actually that you're kind of sacrificing a lot of your self-worth in that situation. And actually you're there. I remember we were there for about 12 hours. No one had come to us and told us anything. There was food and stuff, but no one had really told us what was to be expected of us and what we were doing. And I just felt kind of, I don't like to use the word exploited, but
Yeah.
I remember I took the power back and I was like, I'm going.
Yes, Jamie, I love that.
So even at that age, I kind of had a good sense of self concept, but I didn't always. And I think that was kind of an outlier as opposed to something that was thematic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
I get
So
you.
there's
And
been
I
a lot
think,
of weird jobs.
no, and I think, but again, I think that all, like you say, it comes with experience. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we've
Yeah,
all been in those situations where we're doing something and then you have like a little light bulb moment and you think, the fuck am I doing here? Like, why am I doing this? Like, when you kind of step out of yourself and look at yourself, it's kind of like, no. And it's not even about, being better than the job, but it's just about knowing your worth and knowing who, what you should be doing and knowing your value. And it's quite funny actually, because I put a status out today on Facebook just saying like something like, remember how valuable you are. And I think it's so important, yes, we do need to work. We also have to achieve our dreams, but I also think we should never sell ourselves short. We need to know ourselves. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Actually, I've been listening to a lot of and probably a lot of viewers hopefully that are watching tonight at different points. There's Brené Brown. Have you heard of her?
No.
She's a thinker. You should watch. She did a really sort of, it's kind of become a pivotal piece on TED UK.
Right.
So TED Talks.
Yes, and, I love TED Talks.
She does a thing on vulnerability, but actually she did a whole Netflix, I guess, audience with, and it's an hour and a half, I think, long, and it's all about sort of courage and vulnerability and just really authentically being brave. And sometimes I think in life we become very safe with the choices that we make, and we think, oh, yeah, but this feels right, and like this is what I should be doing. And
yeah,
I think as artists, we've always been kind of a little bit more hardwired to be a little bit braver, in general, because it's a very unsafe career and it's very like, nothing's guaranteed. But 100%. At the same point, I still think you can be just in everyday life. It's like, I'm going to take a different route to work. I'm not going to do the same thing. I'm not going to hang out with the same, just it's constantly about challenging yourself. And
I completely agree. No, I completely agree. And with what you were saying, Jamie, as well, about being brave, I think it's like a natural thing sometimes for us humans to get comfortable. And it's when we're comfortable, you know, that it's a nice feeling, isn't it? You know, like when you're cozy, you're under your bed covers or whatever, being comfortable, it feels nice. But like you say, in comfortability, that there's no growth. Where are you going to go from that? It's just going to stay the same. And we kind of touched upon that a little bit last week with Michelle, and we were saying, you know, that I don't know about you, but I've definitely found points in my life where it's almost like you're going down this road, and you've been down this road so many times, and you know that this road, it's not going to work because you've done it so many times, and you know you need to take that left, and the sat nav is saying take that left, but you're just going to keep going down that road until you get to the dead end. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I think that's a really good point, actually, and that's something I've definitely learned. So I think I think for all my 20s, I was just so tunnel visioned. I was like, nothing is getting in my way. Doors, I don't care about those other doors into those other rooms. And actually, I interviewed Cary Grant, who you might remember from Fame Academy.
Yes.
Can you remember her? Kind of reddish hair.
Red hair, yeah. And her husband, David. I think his name's David.
Yeah, but it's also in the kind of world of voice and music,
right? Of music, yeah.
Yeah, it is David Grant, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
And we had a really good chat, and she said to me something really interesting to me. She said, and she did the British Eurovision when she was like, think about 19. And I was like, oh, that's amazing, right? And she was like, yeah, well, at the time, you know, she was like, it was still cheesy. Like, I didn't want to do it. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, cool. And I was like, well, what made you do it? And she was like, oh, well, you know, the door was open. And I thought, this could be really amazing. And, you know, some people have, you know, don't even get the chance for that door to open for them.
Yeah.
I thought, I'll give it a go. And she just said something about, like, sometimes in life, doors open to different rooms and people choose not to go into them because they're so tunnel vision going in the hall. I was like, that is 100% me in my 20s. I was like, this is me. I've got my goal. I know where I want to go. And I actually probably didn't go into rooms that were open. And sometimes it's about like... And sometimes it's going in there and being like, okay, I'm in this, but like, actually, this room isn't for me. I'm moving on to the next and going back. You know 100%.
What I mean? 100%. No, but definitely.
You find little diamonds, and not about, you know, whatever you believe in. If you believe in sort of religion or the universe, whatever your sort of mode of calling is, or you don't.
Yeah.
I definitely think there's something about, you know, the law of attraction almost, that you're going out there, and when you're open to different possibilities and opportunities, like really authentically open. And you're courageous sometimes in pursuing them, you just never know where it'll lead to.
100%. And I think when you're talking then, because you know that I'm such a believer in law of attraction, but I also think as well, when you're talking about these rooms and stuff, it's about doing things with intention. So to get the one thing that I've learned, to get myself out of a tunnel vision, I know what the end goal is, but if a door does open in front of me, well, hey, why not? Because the fact of the matter is my intention is to move forward in whatever it is that I'm doing. So that door may just be a door that I have a great time and then I leave and I close that door. Or that door may actually open a million other doors. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
And but again, like sometimes 20 can be arrogant. I think that's what Sandy's saying. Like when you are in your 20s, my point was, it's all about experience, isn't it? Because we are growing and we're evolving. So when you are in your 20s, you know, we're stepping into this world of like being free and creating our own world, maybe very different to what we've been brought up in, you know, different from our parents and stuff. So we have to experience these things. There may be times where we're a bit like, you know, really ego-led, like, no, this is what I'm doing. I'm not doing that. I'm not. Do you know what I mean? But then we will soon get brought back down a peg or two to humble ourselves and be like, actually, okay, cool. Maybe I should have done this way. I should have done that way. Do you know what I mean?
Well, this is what Brene Brown talks about. And she talks about like not being afraid. She calls it like life of getting in the ring, right?
I love that.
So when you get in the ring, you're going to get, you know, battered, bruised. You know, a lot of the times you're going to lose, right? But actually, it's all about being in the ring and being, I guess, putting yourself in a position of vulnerability where you might lose, but you also might have amazing, you know, experiences. And I don't know if I was particularly willing to be particularly vulnerable in my 20s, nor was I willing to take massive risks.
Okay.
Not massive risks, that's not true, but nor was I willing to really think or reconsider what was the best option or what I was actually bringing and what was the best thing for that, you know, whatever opportunity came about.
That it was. Yeah. And that's really interesting, actually, that you say that you don't feel that you were kind of, I suppose, comfortable with being vulnerable in your 20s, because I actually feel getting more comfortable with my vulnerability has been more of a challenge in my 30s. Like
Really?
I feel like in my 20s, I was very like carefree. Like I didn't really kind of, not, I don't want to say think of the consequences, because I'm not saying everything that I did had a consequence, but in the essence of like, I would literally just be like, let's just try it. Let's just try it. I don't care. Don't care what this person's opinion. Let me look. And I was trying all these different things, but it's kind of like, now I've got to a point in my life where I've kind of molded who I am, the woman I'm becoming, how I like to live my life. I'm quite particular in the way that I carry myself and the people I have around me and things like that. I actually am then like, oh shit, I now need to go and be vulnerable. And it's a little bit like, oh, I don't know, the feeling's a little bit different, but the one thing that I'm definitely trying to get comfortable with is the uncomfortable, because I think vulnerability is strength. Sometimes we think by being vulnerable, we're opening ourselves to weakness. But actually, the way I kind of flip that is, yeah, cool, I may be opening up myself and, you know, I wear my heart on my sleeve so anyone can come for me. But if I think like that, that is the kind of energy I'm going to draw to me. Whereas if I just open myself and walk as an open book, you know, hopefully I'm just going to attract a lot of positive things. And if things do happen that may go against the grain, I'd rather that happen so I can learn from it than not at all. Do you know what I mean? Kind of let the love in a little bit rather than kind of hold myself back.
You know what? There's a few things you said there. I think one of the things basically you said, you know, obviously in your 30s you feel almost like less likely to be vulnerable, and that's actually really common, and it becomes more of a thing as you get older, where, you know, again, Brené Brown refers to it as like almost like the armor going up. So it's that whole thing of like life is tough. Life throws a lot of stuff at people, right? And it's, you know, if you haven't experienced, you know, particular trauma at a certain age, you're lucky, right? For most people, they have experienced some degree of trauma or something that's been quite traumatic for them. And if you haven't, again, like I said, you're lucky. But I think the idea of, you know, keeping that spirit of open-mindedness and the idea that you're still learning and developing is just really important. Really important.
100%.
And actually, the other thing that I always say this to people, and students will get onto obviously this in a bit as well, but like anyone that's writing on writing camps that I'm managing or looking after, is that like vulnerability is the birthplace of creativity. And I absolutely believe that.
100%.
Right?
100%.
I've been in so many situations where it's ego-led. I've written songs, I'm like, and some of them signed actually that I don't really care about, and I don't think they're particularly good. But then some of the ones that like I really care about, I'm like, wow, I know that's a good song.
Yeah.
Whether it gets signed or not.
Regardless. Because it's authentic to self. It's authentic to what, I don't know, for me as a singer-songwriter, I write from truth. And it's funny you say that, because I've had a couple songs that I've literally written like 2-3 minutes off the cuff, boom, they've been signed. But then that real deep shiz that I've had to process and that situation I've had to go through, that song may have not been signed, but for me, that's a wicked song. And I know that song's amazing. It's so true. And it is. I think you're right. Vulnerability is the heart of creation.
Totally. And again, it comes back again and again, but it's just like, we're not comfortable with doing that for so many reasons, right? Because the idea is like, you might get hurt, right? And that's uncomfortable. So as human beings, we are always going to go to a place that feels safer. It sees it. But actually, when you see it, and you see it happening in your behaviors and the way you do things, that's when you know, I need to make some changes.
100%. It's about being conscious. I think a lot of us can be very unconscious in how we live. And it's kind of like, if you level up and you start kind of sharpening your senses. And I think that's something also that has definitely happened with me, again, within late 20s, early 30s, is that as I'm leveling up, I'm more conscious of my behaviors and what I am doing. So if I'm seeing that something is no longer serving me, I need to just backtrack, reflect on it, and let's try a different, do you know what I mean? Because otherwise we get stuck, and I really don't want to be somebody that is stuck, you know, and somebody that isn't growing. Because like you said before, Jay, you know, growth is continuous. I'm going to be doing that until my last day on this earth. I want to learn more. I want to, you know, I'm not, and I think it's weird as well, just going back to when you were saying, you know, about being in your 20s, and I don't know about you, but it was like in my 20s, my mindset was a little bit like, I've got to get all this stuff done, because when I'm 30, that's when I'm a real adult. When actually, do you know what I mean? Like, you put that pressure on yourself.
The worst age was 29. Not that I know. I mean, I'm not even 30. No, I'm joking. But it's no, I remember, like, I found actually turning 30 one of the hardest. I hated turning 30. I thought everything. And actually, again, another writer that I know, Dolly Alderton, wrote have you heard of Dolly Alderton? She wrote this
No.
book, Everything I Know About Love. And I love this book because why I love it is like she talks about like how her greatest loves in her life are her friends. And I thought it's just really nice because I think it's quite millennial because I do feel like maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, maybe it'll change in our 30s and our 40s or whatever, but like I feel like my friends are particularly important to me.
Yes.
In
Same.
comparison to other generations and
Yes.
people, you know, like, yeah. So anyway, what I really liked about it, she just said so she talked about it again, all about like, you know, basically the loves of her life being her friends, and particularly one of her friends called Farley. But she also talked about, you know, the whole idea of turning 30. And she said, you know what? I was really annoyed when people used to say like, oh, turning 30 is awful. I was totally fine with turning 30. I was ready. She's like, I thought it'd be really unfeminist to like not like the idea of turning 30. And then she said a week before I had a breakdown. And she said,
Really?
she just said, and this was the best sort of metaphor that stuck with me. And if anybody who's going to turn 30 or anybody who has turned 30 might relate to this.
Yeah.
He said it was like I was looking down a corridor and seeing doors shutting of opportunity. And I thought, that is exactly how I feel. I feel like, yeah, it was the first age where I thought, okay, no, this is like, you know, there's certain things I'm not going to be able to do in my 30s. And actually, and everybody says it, oh, it's the best time, it's the best decade. And actually, so far, it's been pretty
Amazing.
great.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And I love that you said that actually, because I remember people used to say to me, especially when I was singing loads more and stuff, especially in my 20s, like, Kirsty, if you've not made it by the time you're 30, like, that's it. That's when you know you're never going to make it. And I think that I've always been a person, because I've always been quite independent and, you know, always lived my life as an independent woman. It was like...
I know, yeah, I was just thinking Destiny's Child.
No, but I think it's something that I always... and I don't know, sometimes it's like my best friend, sometimes it's my worst enemy, but it's like if someone says to me, Kirsty, you can't do this, I'm like, yeah, okay. So when I had these people saying to me, Kirsty, if you've not made it by the time you're 30, I'll be like, yeah, cool, you stay in your little box, because I know what I'm doing over here. I'm living my life, I'm doing my thing. Yeah. So I'm not even going to listen to what you've just said to me, because I think it's so freaking soul destroying. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of people will really be like, shit, by the time do you know what I mean? And then it's like you step onto your platform as 30 and it's like, I don't know, I feel like, and tonight, Matthew, all this smoke and glitter comes out and I'm like, wait, I'm ready for the next 10 years of my life, baby. Let's do this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, totally. I mean, it took me a while. I would say it took me a while to get into the swing of it. But now I'm like, yeah, it does feel good. And I feel like I still feel young.
I love that.
But I think, again, I don't know if I'll ever lose that. I hope I don't. That whole idea that, like, actually, like, there's just so much to... I think the idea is, like, you know, like, you think of our parents' generation, right? So the baby boomers were very different. You know, they were married in their early 20s. They were, you know, buying the house. They were, you know, really set up by the time they were in their 30s. So, of course, if we've learned from them and, you know, the silent generation or all the generations that went before that, you sort of think, yeah, it makes sense that we would feel over the hill. But because in comparison to them, the lives they lead and what they were searching for, it was very different. We were a very different generation. And I 100%. Think it's also like, yeah, okay, I'm probably never going to, you know, be like a commercially, you know, top 20 person. But did I ever really want to be? No.
And I think that is such a key thing that you've just said there, which I think is so beautiful in the evolution of self. Do you know what I mean? Because I think one of the biggest things that I've realized is I just love to sing. And I don't care who that's for. It's not about me, you know, getting a chart or, I don't know, being signed. It's not about that for me anymore, because I've got different areas of my life that I can reach out and make money in and do what I need to do to live a happy life. But singing just makes me happy. And I actually don't need any validation from anybody when it comes to me doing that for myself. And that was like one of the most beautiful things that I think I felt when I turned 30, you know?
Good. Yeah, no, I think that
for
does,
me personally.
that does come. A lot of friends, I think some people take it differently, and I think it's like, it's about kind of making peace with certain things. But like, I definitely feel like, I think it was just, again, it's the first age where you really feel like, oh, wow, you become aware of the clock of life.
Yes.
That was one of the big things. I was like, oh right, okay, so this isn't this isn't a what would you call it, a dress rehearsal. This is happening. You know what I mean? There's not like, oh
I'm
yeah, like
showing up.
all
I'm
of a sudden
here.
I'll turn 30 or I'll turn 40 and I'll be like, oh, sorry, no, you're living. No, this is actually now your life. It's like, no, it's happening now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like
Completely.
that was shifting. That was
Yeah.
definitely shifting. Yeah.
No, I hear you. No, and it's very true. And it's funny because I think as well, like one of the things that I went through, and I can't remember who actually said this to me, but it was something that, because as you, don't get me wrong, as much as I've embraced my 30s and I
Yeah.
absolutely love it, I do feel like, and I don't know why, everyone says when you are 29, it's usually like your worst year. And it was my worst year just because I had a lot going on around me, family-wise, stuff like that. So, and then all of a sudden, like the birthday crept up and I did have like a mini freak out, like the author you were talking about. But then I was like, actually, this is so cool. Like I'm actually ready for life. But one of the things that actually I have just completely forgotten what I was going to say. Oh
What was
my
it about?
gosh.
Was it about the fear of turning 30?
Fear of
Was it
turning
about,
30.
or maybe solidifying who you are, stepping into who
No,
you are?
somebody said to me, Kirsty, when you turn 30, and I cannot remember who it was that said this to me, so but thank you for this piece of advice. But it just made, like when you were talking about timeline, it made me step out of myself and look at the timeline. Now in my head, I don't know, none of us know when our last days are going to be, but in my brain I've said to myself, I'm going to live till I'm at least 90. That's just something I've always said. It's almost like setting myself a goal and intention. I'm going to live till I'm about here, and right now I'm here. As far as I'm concerned, if I do live until I'm 90, I've not even lived half of my life yet. So what the hell am I worrying about? What the hell am I worrying about? And it was like, you know what, that's so true. And I know that tomorrow's never promised and la da la da la da, but I think if we think like that, you're always going to think in fear. And you
It's
know,
a
all of the
really good
women,
point.
it is, isn't it? And
Living
it's
your
like,
life in fear.
yeah, and I think that's a key thing. It's like kind of eradicating that fear. Cool, we're not we are in control of our destinies to an extent, but obviously we don't know when we're going to pass over and blah blah blah. But for me, I look at my generations, I look at my grandma, my great grandma, they all lived till they were like 89, 90, 99, whatever. In my head, I'm living till I'm 90. So at the age of 30, I've not even lived half of my life yet. I've got so much more living to do. That is like my mindset right now.
Also, imagine what life is going to be like in 2078. Like, it's like, I wonder what it's going to be like.
Can you imagine?
It's hard to imagine. It is hard to imagine. I hope it's like
super hard.
I hope we have we're like flying around in drones and stuff, and I don't know. That would be fucking amazing, wouldn't it?
I just hope I could just fly.
Huh? This girl, someone's just come in there. I always think the same. So much of life still to live and achieve. Follow your dreams. Very positive. I totally agree.
I agree. Completely. No, 100% I agree. And I feel like that is what we need to do.
I'd also be open to your mind to the idea of your dreams changing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, again, that whole open door policy of which is again why I really loved that conversation with Cary Grant, and actually this tonight as well, where it was like that door open. And she really was someone who, and I wish I had done that probably a little bit younger, where I was like, oh, actually I did in some ways, but not all the time. Sometimes there were doors that were like wide open, come in. And I think it's good to do that and just see what's in there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think that is how we need to live our lives. And when you were talking about dreams changing, we're forever changing. And I think sometimes that's the key thing. It's like someone might have one dream, whereas I'm always like, have as many dreams as you physically want, or that you can physically think of, because it's inevitable. You're not always going to achieve each and every one of them. But the more dreams you have, the more opportunities you will get to at least achieve some of them, you know?
Totally.
So
and again,
100%.
it's about, I guess it's about that whole sort of metaphor of being in the ring, right?
Yeah, completely.
Like you're gonna be battered and bruised. It's going to be difficult. There's going to be turmoil. There's going to be trauma.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, you will have, you'll be more, I think, more of yourself rather than if you take the safe route, for sure.
100%. And it's like my song, Fight the Good Fight. That's what being in the ring is all about. Fighting the good fight. You're going to get knockbacks. You're going to get setbacks. You're going to win a couple of times. But, that end result of the person you are is going to be bloody phenomenal as long as you've taken a few swings and a few punches.
Yeah.
I completely agree. 100%. Right, Jay, sorry. I know we've got... I feel like I wish we had so much more time. I can't believe you've got 40 minutes already. I know. But right, so let's get into a bit about you and your career. So, correct me if I am wrong, back in your 20s, you were in a One Direction tribute band.
I was.
Talk to us a little bit about this. No, because I think it's amazing because you got so many opportunities. Correct me if I am wrong, but you traveled the world. You got to do like performances in front of thousands of people. Like, tell us a little bit about that. How was that experience for you?
It was mental. Like, so funny enough, talking about doors opening.
Yeah.
The time I just come back from, I did like a season abroad, and I was gigging abroad, and it was a bit tragic, if I'm being honest. I was like, oh, what is this? Is this what like supposed to be gigging is supposed to be? And then I got a call from one of my friends and he was like, Jamie, what are you doing? And I was like, at the moment, I was like, oh, I'm working in like a call center or something. And he was like, oh, well, there's this One Direction act. They're looking for a Zayn Malik. I think you'd be really good. And I was like, Zayn? He's like half Pakistani. How can I play him? And they were like, oh no, but like apparently he's half Irish too. So, like, and you've got dark hair. And I was like, but also like, he's like, what was I saying? I was like, this was when they just come out of X Factor. I was like, aren't they like an X Factor reject group? Like, would you get any gigs with it? And he was like, just come along, come to the audition.
I love it.
So, yeah. So I went along to the audition, got in, and we did the first couple of gigs, and it was really fun. It was really fun, but it was like hard in those couple of days because I was like, I'm not sure about this, and I wouldn't put it on my social media or anything because I was like, I'm an artist. If anyone judging me,
shit.
do you know what I mean? So I was like really like, again, the whole tunnel vision thing of like, I'm an artist. This is just a side thing. But actually, what happened is that became, really, really big. So like we did like 3 UK theatre tours. We did a West End run. We did, we opened up massive shows in Dubai and Jakarta. It's like 10,000 people. Like Unreal. It was mental. Like I remember like, it was insane. It was really, really good. So that was really exciting. And, I was doing that for 5 years, like pretty much full time. And it was just really fun. I remember like feeling like I was really living. Yeah. And I was there with my best mates. We were all on the road. And like, I think that thing of when people say, they've been in a band that's been, relatively successful, and then it ends, they go through a depression. I definitely found it really hard when it ended.
Really? Because that's actually what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, because obviously from being in the band, Searls was created, right? Well, I know he was always being created, but you wanted to step out and obviously, have this solo artist career. How hard was that transition for you? Because it's like having your family with you to then just rolling solo.
Totally. I miss them so much because like there's something about it's like having your, like the lads, we were like, and like not all of us, like, I mean, we all got on really well, actually. Like, especially the main people, like the main cast, because, like sometimes someone couldn't work or whatever. We'd have someone like one of our, we had like a main cast, and then we had, what would you call it? Understudies, I guess. Okay. And like, the main cast, like we were all just so close, and it was such a special time. And I don't think, it's like anything, because I think One Direction got so big, and we were basically riding on their little tailcoats as this kind of like act that, we're just having fun with it. We didn't realize how it would become so big for us, actually, and so shifting, and like just even like I literally got a video the other day of someone sent on to me, they're like, oh, someone's done a reaction video from one of your videos that you did One Direction. Do you know what I mean?
No way.
It's mental. Yeah, we people that got tattoos of us. Like it was mental. It was mental.
Unreal.
People like, it was a fun time though. But it was more fun because we were like gigging, and I missed them. I missed the sense of being on the road, the sense of like going from one venue to the next, the sense of like, the excitement, especially when it was building. Because it started so small, like, we were doing like, it wasn't always glamorous. Like we were doing like, working men's club in Skegness, where like, I remember doing a bat mitzvah where after 3 songs they were like, okay, you can leave now. I remember like, like doing it to like proper, like, like when I said the working men's club, it's not a thing that I'm familiar with in Ireland, but over here it's quite a big thing, where it's like sort of working class place, the lads drink, where they go on the Friday night. So I don't know why they booked us at points. I was like, why are we coming here? This is mental. But
I can imagine.
but it was fun.
And how did you overcome those, like some of those situations? Like if you said it made you feel like a bit of a way, like how did you?
So I think, you know what, and you get this as well, Kirsty, because you're a singer and you know what it's like to perform. I genuinely believe, like, I don't really get nervous performing now. And I think the reason I don't get any sort of performance anxiety is because I have been in situations where it's been actually quite terrifying. Like, you can throw me in front of 10,000 people. That's an easy gig because no matter what, if you just like, I don't know, insult their mum on the phone, they'll still be like, "Oh my God." But if you put me in front of, 10 people that don't like you before you've even started, or friends, even friends and family as well, in a sense, because it's their opinion matters. You put me in front of either people that don't like you and they're going to like give you a hard time, or friends and family, because that can be really hard. Because firstly, your friends and family's opinion matters to you.
Yes.
And then those people, are going to hate you. So they're going to like be like, "Get the fuck off the stage. Fucking cunts."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, I know exactly what you mean.
Bottles thrown in the early day, like, "Get off. Fucking pound shop."
Oh, don't, Jay.
I was
but
like,
I love that because that shows such strength in character. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, we've got fireworks going off if you can hear.
I can hear it. It's good. It's like it's always the same, isn't it, around this time of year?
I know.
So yeah, like I think those things I think you learn so much about how to gig. So for now, I feel like any gig I can kind of do because I've done all the hard ones and I've done pretty amazing ones as well,
100%. And I love that. And again, it's kind of that us talking about that whole going through experiences and growing through them. It's kind of not us. It's a piece of work. Why? Because you love what you do. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you bring that to the stage when you are on stage.
Yeah.
100%.
Sure. I mean, there's still some gigs you do now, like we're like, like, oh God. But I think it's harder sometimes. I think it's harder for people that are like, fully in the public sort of sphere because, they're, if they sing a bum note or anything, like it's hard. Like it's like, and people will, slate you. But, you've just got to be willing again, get in the ring.
And keep fighting that good fight. No, it's so true. It's so true. And Jay as well, like, so obviously, well, not obviously, but we've called this show Four is a Disco. So let's now fast forward to present day.
Sure.
What is going on with your music and you as an artist today? What projects are you working on?
So in between, I launched my project called Searls, which was and is still like a sort of a visual artist. I'm a songwriter, so I sell my music now, really. So I sell it to like, publishing companies, record labels, things like that. Actually have a song coming out, I think, in the new year.
Amazing.
I think it was like someone that was on Danish X Factor, which is great. But
wow.
That's a big thing. But actually, my work as an artist for Searles grew out of that because I was like, I wanted to do something so different to the stuff that I'd done, right? So I ended up doing this act, which was like sort of electro ambient, sort of R&B influences, and it was just something that really sang to my soul and something that I really wanted to do. And then I sort of realized, you've a hard conversation with yourself, but like, well, what about this is working, and what about it's not, and what could be better?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, there's a lot of people doing this, right? I know it's good.
Yeah.
But is it good enough? And
I love that though. I love that you had that conversation with yourself because I think that is something as human beings we can sometimes really struggle with. Like I was talking, that right there is the whole driving down the road when you need to go left, but I'm going to keep driving down the road even though I know it's not working. Let's just take that left and try something new.
Exactly. And I sort of started to realize there was a shift in how I was viewing the world. I've always been like a sort of a glass half full, really optimistic and excited by life. And then I sort of started noticing I was like getting really just sort of anxious and maybe even a little bit depressed, I would say. And then I sort of realized, okay, I need to make a change. Something isn't serving.
Working,
And then ascertaining that like, actually, I'm putting too much of an expectation on this. So my whole motto with any art form that I'm involved in now, and this, because with music, you can be, I call it like a mixed, and that's what we work with in Tileyard about being a mixed portfolio entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
So the idea that you can be a songwriter, you can be an artist, you can be a, you know, work in publishing, you can work in the management side of things, you can be all of those things, and but maybe certain parts of that will make you more money than, let's say, the part that you would, you know, your heart would desire the most.
100%.
That's okay. So I think for me, I realized that like I'm making probably a bit more money in the publishing thing and also the live circuit, and I can still do this, but actually, what else am I doing that I'm not thinking of? And that's when I had a thought. I was like, right, so I have all this performance experience.
Yeah.
I have a really great network of really good, you know, producers. I have a really great network of like great singers that I know are like not just good singers, because I've worked with good songwriters that I can write a great song, but they can't perform live.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, how can I make this all into something that's, you know, and not even package it up, but can I make something that I feel like I'm passionate about? So out of that grew Four as a Disco, which is coming in 2021. So it's sort of
I'm so excited.
I'm excited about it.
I'm excited.
Yeah. And it's nice because I feel like it's exactly what I want in terms of, like, we spoke a little bit about, you know, I found the whole solo project really isolating, and especially coming from a background where I was in a band, I found it really just isolating, and I really wanted to be involved in something where it was like, you know, in a band again, in a group, helping, pushing forward together with like people that I really trust and believe in.
Yeah.
And I started working with Electric Pineapple, which is a independent management team and publishing company based in Tileyard, London.
Amazing.
And we started, I just went to them when I pitched them the idea. I was like, because I really think there's not an alt male sort of queer focused group.
Yes.
Out there.
In the industry.
Nothing. And I was like, I feel like it would be really cool if we did something like around sort of disco electronica, modern day 2020, with a sort of a discussion of masculinity within the lyrics. And out of that has grown this over, it's been in development for just under 2 years, but we're launching it in 2021.
I am so excited, Jay.
I'm excited.
Pardon?
I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I bet you are. And it's a whole new project to immerse yourself into. And is this something that you've also been cooking throughout lockdown?
Yeah.
And building and, you know, molding and sculpting? Because I think that is super that you've been able to use your time in lockdown to actually get something ready for 2021, when we're all going to be free again, hopefully.
I mean, I hope it's not too long away. I mean, hopefully get this vaccine out. I'm like, I'm ready.
Give it to me.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. But Jay, listen, I know that we've literally, I wish we had more time. I can't believe it's nearly been an hour. I know.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. But just really quickly, I know we've spoken about so much like self-development, growth. We said that we were going to talk about lockdown lessons. So I know for a lot of us, we have had to look within, learn a lot about ourselves. We've had so much time on our hands, nowhere to go, nowhere to deflect. Yeah. What would you say the 3 most valuable lessons that you have learned about yourself within lockdown?
Oof.
During this time?
It's really good, because I was literally thinking about this last night and today.
Really?
And I feel like, yeah, I was. And I feel like I'm still thinking. I think that I didn't realize how much I need people, you know, and I really value my friends in a way, and my family as well, in a way that I think I didn't beforehand. So like social connection is the most important thing. Obviously health, social connection. I think what I've learned about myself, I guess, is that I need social connection. That we need less. I think the work, you know, I moved to London. I've kind of mentioned I'm a country bumpkin, right? I'm from the sticks in Ireland. I'm from a small country town right on the coast. It's really beautiful, great place to grow up. I had the best childhood, yada yada. But I moved to London for the excitement of this city, and not having that, and not having access to it, but while also being here, was like, oh wow, okay. So I like being in a fast-paced environment. I just enjoy it.
Yeah, but it gives you a buzz, doesn't it? It's like, it keeps you momentum, I feel.
Yeah, it does. It just keeps you like, it's just exciting. Like, it gives me energy. But I also feel like it has been good because, you know, certain things that I was doing career-wise, I was just like, you know, you know, doing different music projects that probably weren't serving me. So now I realize what I want. I know that I have time, or like where I need to put my time, and what I don't want.
I love that, which I think is really bloody important.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean? Like I was doing different things. Like I was doing different gigs at weekends, and I was like, I don't know why am I doing this? And like this is like, you know, and it's like you get caught in a cycle of like living paycheck to paycheck. And I thought, okay, no, there's other things that will serve me better here and actually serve what I want to do. So I think probably for everyone, right? And anyone that's watched today is like, I think it's all giving us a chance to just pause and just slightly more omnisciently and or more objectively look at our lives and think, oh, this is, am I happy with this? Or maybe I should change this. Maybe I should change that. And also definitely an absolute better knowledge of self in terms of just mental health, understanding that is something to be safeguarded and looked after.
Yeah.
It's tough. And I know for anybody watching tonight as well, I'm sure for anybody, like, reach out if you ever need to chat, because it's tough.
Same. Yeah, no, it is 100%. I agree, especially the people that have like been solely on their own. Like one of the things that I've learned in lockdown for me has been gratitude. I am so grateful. You know, I've woken up every day consciously of being grateful for things that maybe I would have bypassed. You know, even like living with my housemates, having people here, I can escape and be on my own when I want to be, but also being able to reach out and be like, actually, guys, today I feel like crap, or today I want a movie day, or can we go for a walk together and just talk? It's so important. So that's something I've been really grateful for. And also, like you said, you know, having time to actually really appreciate your loved ones and your family. Like right now, my nanny, bless her little cotton socks, is in hospital. And she's been in hospital for the last 6 weeks today. And, you know, it's been so hard not being able to see her, or, you know, like just little things I might do, cook some food and go up there. And we've not been able to see her. She's been in there on her own for 6 weeks, which has also opened my eyes to how bloody strong she is and how strong that generation is, you know, and that actually our generation, it is tough for us and it has been hard. You know, pubs and clubs are shut, but I think for the older generation, it's really been hefty on them. And I feel like thinking of those things has really helped me deal with this situation. You know, I mean, I've learned loads. We could be here for another hour if I'm honest with you. Because I feel like, do you know what I mean? But really quickly, Jamie, because we've literally got 2 minutes.
Go.
What would Jamie today say Jamie back then in his 20s, just starting out his career? Like if there was one piece of advice that you could give to yourself back then, what would it be?
For sure, it would be, and I hear this a lot of people that are a lot older than us saying this as well, people at the end of their life say it as well, be braver, actually. Be braver with your career. Don't doubt yourself so much, just do it.
Yes.
Just do it and get involved. And enjoy it. Stop and enjoy. Sometimes I think I was so focused on the end goal that I forgot to enjoy all these amazing moments. I think I got better at that. I think I'm better at it now, but for sure, like there's some amazing moments that, you know, I feel like I've been lucky to have lived through. So
100%.
Just take it and enjoy it. You get this.
Yes, I do. Listen, Jamie, we've literally got about 30 seconds. Where can everybody find you on socials?
Well, here's Searls Music. I'm on all Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, I believe. Just stay in touch with me there.
Super, guys. Listen, this is real relevant right now. The 22nd episode, 4 is a Disco. Look out for Jamie's magical project launching in 2021. I'm Kirsty Spence. This has been Jamie Searls. Jay, thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for all the positive vibes. I've needed it today. Literally, everyone's saying love you guys. And thank you for tuning in.
See you later. Bye. Bye.
Bye.